Hello everyone, thank you for clicking that link and joining me again today. And today we are going to talk about Jennings. Oh, I suppose I should introduce myself. My name is Dee. I am Fat Chick in a Barn. My claim to fame is I'm a yo-yo dieter. I'm midway through my weight loss journey. And I am not a doctor, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not anything special. I'm just a fat chick who's reacting to crap. And I don't actually happen to be in the barn right now, so I'm not even a fat chick in a barn right now. But today, we're gonna take a look at Jennings. Now, if you don't know who Jennings is, I believe her pronouns are she. She is a transgendered woman, meaning that she was observed to be male at birth. And at this time, she presents herself as female. I will be addressing her as female. But she has come clean about having a binge eating disorder, and she has put on 100 pounds. So we're going to talk about that. So this first scene, before I even click play, and it's TLC, so I don't even know how much of this I can, like, legally look at. So I'm probably going to try to be very brief. But this first scene, she is eating nachos, or chips at least, and cheese out of a crock pot on her bed, which when the scene opened up, I found that incredibly shocking. I don't know why. It shocked me that that's what she was doing. I guess because I myself know that I can't just sit and eat certain foods. Chips and cheese would be a big one. There is no queso dip and chips in my house because there aren't even crackers in my house because I will eat them. Did I hit record? I'm gonna hit record. Now we're hitting record. Now we're recording. Alright, I will leave that on the screen for its full effect for you while I drink some tea. And we're throwing some tea. Alright, so hopefully I don't get copyrighted for this, but let's rock on. Okay, so I may take the sound out, and if I do, basically what was happening is Mom there was saying that Jazz spends a lot of time in her room, binge watching TV and, well, binge eating. So, you know what? And I've been there. I have been there where I just binge watch TV shows all day long. I've been there. And now looking back, I'm like, the hell was I thinking? So Jazz just got done saying that she is a very hungry girl. If there's food anywhere, she is going to pig out. So that could be a problem. Okay, so Mom is now saying, is this food that's been eaten, is this just garbage? And this does look like a hoarder situation. Oh my gosh, that was like a drawer. That was like a drawer under her bed filled with wrappers. Oh my. It's almost like my strange addiction where people are hiding weird little secrets like that. So Mom is saying, how long have you been doing this? It couldn't have been that long. It would have started to smell or something. Oh, look at the teenage angst. 2 or 3 months is what Jazz has said. Ever since she started driving. And yeah, and see, that was the thing too. I was thinking about doing a video on like how almost moving up here is like a intervention, because I no longer really go to town to get anything. And there's no temptation to stop at Starbucks, you know, oh, I'll just get a sourdough jack on the way home, or oh, I'll just get, you know, bacon cheddar potato wedges and an Oreo cookie shake from Jack in the Box. These are things I used to eat all the time. And so, like, living out here, it's almost an intervention because there isn't even a Jack in the Box. Is there? No, there isn't. There is no Jack in the Box. And there's no Starbucks. I would have to drive like 30 minutes to get there. In the next town. Mom is kind of beside herself, saying that she had known that Jazz had been eating kind of iffy But she's like, yeah, this is like hoarder level situation here with these wrappers and stuff. So Jazz is saying that if she looks in the mirror that she can see that she's gained weight. She's not very happy with that, which, you know, a lot of people aren't. And this is like the 7th season, I believe, and I don't know if this is during the time of COVID, because a lot of people put on weight when they were locked in their houses, which is the dumbest thing, because the government just basically made us really unhealthy by locking us in our houses so we couldn't get any exercise or vitamin D, so let's make everyone way more unhealthy. Okay, she just got done saying that food makes her feel comfortable, safe, and happy, and that seems very troubling to me, because if you watch My 600-Pound Life, that's pretty much exactly what all of those people say as well. So Mom's asking, is there anything we can do to help you? Do we go to a therapist? Yes, Mom! Get her ass to a therapist, post-haste. So Mom is saying we're gonna do a health food kick like we had done a couple years ago. Now, that's a little troubling too, because a lot of times when you try to force people to eat healthy, they definitely do not want to and end up, you know, eating junk anyway. And since she has a car and can call DoorDash, you're not going to be very successful. The only way this change will occur is if she wants to. Mom says, I don't know if she's super hungry or there's emotional eating behind, and she's not super disciplined about working out, and that's a sign of maturity. That's what Dad's saying there. So, interestingly enough, now I don't know much about Jazz. Like, I don't watch the show, so I don't know, like, how she takes her estrogen, but from my research, I have discovered that if you get injected estrogen, it tends to cause really high fluctuations, which can cause mood swings, weight gain, hot flashes, anxiety, migraines, and additionally, little is known about the effects of these high levels over the long term. So, like I said, I don't know how she gets her medication. I don't know if it's pills, I don't know if it's injections. I think it's pills, but I could be dead wrong on that. So, I mean, that could be a reason that she's having these experiences with being hungry and wanting to eat. And that, honestly, that was one of the reasons I wanted to react to this, was because I was like freaking fascinated. I'm like, oh, is it the estrogen? Are women more prone to binge eating disorder or BED? Which, interestingly enough, BED is one of the newest eating disorders formerly recognized in the DSM-5. Before the most recent version in 2013, BED was listed as a subtype of EDNOS. I'm not really sure what that is. The change is important because some insurance companies will not cover eating disorder treatment without the DSM diagnosis. So that's good. In a 2007 study, 9,282 English-speaking Americans were asked about the variety of mental health conditions, including eating disorders. The result, published in Biological Psychiatry, found that 3.5% of women and 2.0% of men had binge eating disorder during their life. This makes binge eating disorder more than 3 times more common than anorexia or bulimia combined. BED also is more common than breast cancer, HIV, and schizophrenia. BED, often, I'm using BED and binge eating disorder interchangeably, I apologize. Binge eating disorder often begins in late teens, early 20s, although it has been reported in both young children and older adults. Approximately 40% of those with binge eating disorder are male. 3 out of 10 individuals looking for weight loss treatments show signs of binge eating disorder, which I wouldn't doubt. I think this is a new... Now, granted, the study's saying it's not a new thing, but I think all eating disorders are a bit of a new thing in the culture of humanity. Now, really, something that I was curious about was the transgendered aspect of it, since Jazz is transgendered. And In 2015, a study found that transgendered college students were more than 4 times likely than their cisgendered. Cisgendered is people who basically agree with the gender that they have been observed with. 4 times more likely than their cisgendered female counterparts to report an eating disorder diagnosis such as anorexia, bulimia, and 2 times more likely to report eating disorders symptoms such as purging. Similar results were reported in a 2013 survey of high school youths showing transgendered students are nearly 3 times as likely than their cisgendered peers to restrict eating, almost 9 times as likely to use diet pills, and 7 times as likely to use laxatives to control their weight. So it does seem like perhaps being transgendered lends itself to eating disorders, but my theory, as just a fat chick, not even in a barn, is that there's probably a whole host of issues that being transgendered lends itself to, or lend themselves to transgendered individuals. Alright, let's move along after my download of data. So Mom's saying, I don't want you to feel bad, but this has to stop. Jazz is going to hang out with one of her friends, Skylar, who is also a transgendered individual. So it's basically, we're great friends and we've been there for each other, yakety smackety. So, I don't know if I'm going to comment on this, but Jazz is saying that Skylar had bottom surgery. My understanding from the clips of the show that I've ever watched, Jazz took puberty blockers, which prevented her penis from ever reaching full size. So there is some concern that she cannot have bottom surgery because there's less tissue to create a false vagina, out of which they apparently take the penis and turn it inside out for that. That's why Jess is intrigued. Sorry. So she's saying Skylar seems like the same person, but seems more lifted by being comfortable in her body, which is, you know, something that could definitely lend itself to binge eating disorder, as we were just talking about. So they're going to get food and they're gonna chat about. So Jazz was saying, she's basically, well, I mean, I don't know if I'm even gonna keep this in the video, but Jazz is just saying how she's gonna interrogate this other young lady on her surgery. So Jazz is just saying, so you lost a lot of weight, you skinny bitch. And she says she lost 10 or 12 pounds. So Jazz was saying that she's so hungry and she hasn't eaten anything all day, which of course with a lot of people makes them think they can eat whatever they want to. And they tend to overeat, which is why you should eat well, for most people, you should eat meals. If you can OMAD and do it and make it work, that's cool, but most people can't. Okay, Jazz said that sometimes she eats a lot even if she's full. So that is definitely, excuse me, a symptom of binge eating disorder. So Jazz was just saying that she doesn't really care about being fat because she looks at her body as a vehicle and doesn't necessarily really like register that she's part of it. You know, that this is her. I don't know. I mean, I think to a certain extent that is the body dysmorphia that a transgendered person would feel. However, she has modified her body and is taking hormones to be females. She was saying she doesn't see her body as you. And so the blonde girl is saying that she's hoping that if once she gets bottom surgery, that will help her mind and body connect. So they're getting food. And Jazz is saying that she thinks her eating habits are a real problem. And that she's saying that every time her grandfather sees her eating unhealthy, that she's doing a cute little voice. And I'll post this down below so you can watch the video on your own, saying that every time you eat unhealthy, I can't do it. There's plaque building up in your arteries. I can't do the voice. And you're gonna have a stroke or a heart attack. True. Okay, so that's my reaction. My final thoughts I think because Jazz already has gender dysphoria, I mean, that is probably can be contributing to binge eating disorder. You know, it's sad, and the fact that Jazz spends so much time in her room eating junk food. I've been there, not in my room, living room. And I would, you know, as a not even a fat chick in a barn, I would say that could be depression. So I would recommend therapy. I mean, I would assume that Jazz would be getting therapy. Maybe she's not getting therapy anymore. She got it early on, but I would assume that therapy would be necessary. I mean, and that, you know, and that was one of the things even with me, is I was like, you know, if I can't get this weight off and keep it off, I want to get therapy. So I feel for Jazz. I mean, having been there, it sucks to wake up one day and be like, holy shitballs, ladies, what have I done to myself? You know, it is rough. With some of the other stuff I watched, I guess Jazz got accepted to, I want to say Harvard. I could be dead wrong on that, so don't quote me on that. And her parents were a little frustrated because she's not getting up on time and she's staying in bed and that kind of thing. Again, seems like depression to me, and perhaps Jazz needs to see a therapist, but it's always kind of a delicate situation with the whole transgendered thing. So that's my thoughts. It sucks, and basically the only thing to do is the same thing everybody else is doing, if they're doing, is, you know, start eating right, eating healthy. You know, I mean, Jazz could be eating a big ass, you know, bucket of broccoli and cauliflower and still getting the sense of eating. I mean, and you can season that so it tastes nice, and eat a ton of it, and it's not going to do anything to you. It'll fill you up, you know. But really, I think therapy would be in order, quite frankly. So with that, I'm ducking out of here, and I will see you in the next video. Air hugs, and I am out.